Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Will Reece, and I'm your host with AFC Vacations. Today, our tours and trips are going to cover our European river cruises, and there are some really great and dynamic programs that we have to offer on many of the different rivers throughout Europe. I'll cover both 2025 river cruises, the remaining two or three dates that we do have left. Again, these programs have been so successful over the last few years. When we started promoting river cruises, we do maybe 2 or 3 per year, and we're up to about 10 departures per year at this stage because it's become one of the best ways to travel throughout Europe and anywhere around the world. Now, we'll go in depth on some programs and just bring up some new ones as well. So later in the year, towards the end of 2026, I'll just mention our Christmas Markets cruise, but we'll hit some of the other great opportunities that are earlier in the year. Now, for those of you who are new to AFC, we offer worldwide tours and cruises. We're based in San Diego, California, and we offer a number of different travel styles. So, as I mentioned, one of our most popular are these European river cruises where we charter the entire ship. We offer land tours by motor coach, both in the US as well as overseas, and then some fantastic train trips. Now, our most popular style of tour is our Unpack Once trip, and that stays at one hotel for your entire tour. What's included with an AFC tour, first and foremost, is round-trip airfare, and we do show the main gateways, especially from the West Coast, as that's our primary target base of clients, but from all over the country. If you have friends or family that want to join you for a trip, we can fly them out from just about anywhere. So let our staff know in the office when you do plan to book. If you do have friends or family that want to join you from parts that aren't noted on the brochure, and we're happy to acknowledge and help those folks get to the trip. We have a wonderful team of tour managers, great guides all over the world, and they really do care about your experience out on the road. They go above and beyond to make sure your trip's fantastic, and you really do get the most out of it with us. We have a couple of different guarantees. First is our guaranteed departures. So you'll see the symbol GD in our brochure and on the show, and that means that trip is guaranteed to operate and is ready to go out the door. We also have guaranteed pricing, and what that means is once you put your deposit down on a trip, your price is locked in. So even as fuel prices change, as we're hit with surcharges from our vendors, those don't get passed on to you, and that's what you can expect from us. So once you put your deposit down, that's the only way to hold your space on a tour, especially as these trips are selling out. One of the best benefits to booking with AFC is that we do offer home pickup service for the airport transfer. So we pick you up at your door, take you to the airport, and bring you back, and that's all included within a 40-mile radius of your airport. Anything beyond that is a surcharge, but again, a very convenient service that takes a lot of the stress out of the planning of your trip. We offer home pickup service and also a pickup credit if you choose not to use that service. So if you use Uber or Lyft or share a ride with friends or family, let our staff know and we'll take $100 off your final payment if you don't use our transfer. What the company is really about at AFC Vacations is real people and real service. And we've been in business for 43 years, a wonderful stretch operating tours and cruises all over the world. And we really do bring some solid expertise to this industry. Our team has over 140 years combined experience in the travel industry and really does a great job in answering your questions up front and making sure you're comfortable with the travel experience and the destination. We are part of the USTOA, that's the United States Tour Operators Association, and that provides a $1 million Travelers Assistance Program if anything were to happen to the company. So it's really important to book your travel with companies that are protected under USTOA. Now, we have a lot of great offers available to travelers with us, and first is our risk-free deposit. So you can make your 2025 deposit without any risk. Any cancellations up till 90 days, there is no loss to you. And you can get a future travel credit for any cancellation fee, deposit, or travel protection that you purchase. So that travel insurance as well, up till 90 days at final payment. So it's a really great benefit to you in planning your travel. That's available for 2025 and 2026. Now, our Travelers Club is our loyalty program. And so if you book a 2025 tour or European river cruise, you're automatically enrolled to receive $100 off your next trip within 18 months. So the loyalty credit is good for 18 months between trips. So as long as you're continuing to plan and book within that window, that continues to roll over to each and every trip within 18 months. We also are a company that started by word of mouth. People would take our trips and then they'd tell their friends and family members about us, and that would help us grow. And now we have travelers from coast to coast, from San Diego all the way up to Washington, D.C. So if you do tell your friends or family members about us and they take a trip using your name, your next tour will be $100 off. And last but not least is our early booking savings. And so you can save more per person based on a segment of clients. So if you're within the first 20 to book on a tour and specific departure, you can save up to $100 off on domestic or international trips. And if you're the 21st or 40th traveler to book on that departure date, you can still save up to $75 off. That actually doubles when you're looking at our European river cruises. So up to $200 off per person by being one of the first 20 to book on our cruises. And the main component of that, you would pay your final payment by check and make sure you're within that first segment to book. So book early. It does pay to book early. Getting into our wonderful programs on our European river cruises, just to give you an insight into how they operate, what we do, and how we include different components on these trips. So some of the benefits of European river cruises are that they are smaller ships. Now, a lot of people think cruising, they think those big ocean liners, and it really is a much more intimate setting with our European river cruises. So the small ships range from 110 to 160 passengers, and anywhere from 53 to 80 cabins. So much smaller than those thousands and thousands of people running around the different cruise lines that run the oceans. These are also more steady for anybody that has motion sickness. They're much more calm in terms of the waters. So that really makes it a more comfortable setting of travel. And it really does combine the sightseeing of a motor coach tour with the convenience and dining of an ocean cruise. So it's a really great package that incorporates all these great features. And one of the benefits is that you do get to unpack your suitcase for 7 nights on the majority of our sailings and 6 nights on our holiday cruises. The sightseeing as well is very inclusive. Most of the days will have a morning excursion included and then an afternoon optional tour. And that provides you the flexibility to pick and choose what you want to do during the day. You're not forced to do anything at all. You can relax on the ship or join our included or optional trips. The optional trips are at cost. The inclusive ones have some fantastic features and they're focused on the main attractions of the program. And then on board, we do nightly entertainment, nightly music on board. And so that's a great feature that we do have available to folks. So after dinner, we can come up into the lounge on all of the ships and there'll be musicians performing. And occasionally we'll do a folklore show on board as well. And in terms of the value that you get on these cruises, I mentioned the inclusive dining as well as the sightseeing. We also provide tour directors on board the ships. You'll have your cruise director who comes with the cruise line and works directly with you and with our passengers on board. And then several tour directors that come with the experience of handling American travelers in Europe. And so it really does provide a great convenience to you, a great resource of people to come to if there are any situations that do occur, as well just a helping hand. And these are English only charters. So ships that are English focused in terms of the language, and that really does help to provide a better experience for our American travelers. We do include free Wi-Fi on board our ships, and so that is available on each of our departures. So it makes you nice and easy to connect with folks back home as you travel, or if you want to shut it all off and just enjoy the vacation and check in when you get home, that's okay too. And at our dinners, we include hand-selected wine, draft beer, and soft drinks. included in all of our dinners. And then on the Douro River that we have for 2025 in Portugal, we have some additional benefits that I'll cover on that as well. In terms of the dining experience on these cruises, these are an amazing array of meals that are prepared fresh on board by these excellent chefs. At breakfast, we have a buffet in the main restaurant, the Panorama restaurant. And then we also usually are available to provide an early riser breakfast for folks that come up anywhere from about 6 or 6:30 on. And for folks that get up early and looking for things to do, especially as that time change adjustment occurs, there'll be coffee as well as some pastries and some other small items upstairs prior to our sit-down breakfast. For lunch, we have a variety of menus as well as buffet specialties in the restaurant, and then also provide great afternoon snacks. So this is the kind of experience that you can't go hungry on. But the afternoon snacks are primarily based on the daily schedule. So usually they occur around 4 o'clock with some little cakes and pastries and little sandwiches, tea sandwiches. So that's a great feature as well. Our dinners consist of 4-course meals with your choice of entree. And then they also provide choices of appetizer and dessert. So really great opportunity to try different things, both comfort as well as variation. And I mentioned those hand-selected wines, beers, and soft drinks included with dinners. I will mention that on the Douro River, during the entire day, we have wine and beer available. And then cocktails and spirits are available after 6 on that Douro River cruise. So that's a really nice benefit on that experience. And the service staff on board go above and beyond to learn your preferences, learn your allergies or any kind of challenges you do have with meals, and make sure you get what you're looking for. Getting into the specific departures, I mentioned the Douro River, and this is one of the most amazing cruises I've ever been on. We work our way into Porto for the main program, and Porto is a wonderful hub up in the northern part of Portugal with so many great activities and sightseeing, and that is what we include on our city tour. So we'll start out with a Porto city tour on arrival. We arrive, we get on the beautiful Riviera Rose, and that was built, actually is just being launched this month. So it's a brand new ship, 2025 vessel. Hasn't been cruised on yet, but it will have a couple of test runs before you get on board. And then as we explore, we'll work our way inland towards Spain. And we will do a full day city tour sightseeing in Salamanca, Spain on this cruise. And that's a highlight for me on this program. We'll do a full day guided tour as we explore the city in Spain, getting to see the beautiful university that dates back to 1218. We'll also see the amazing cathedral, one of 2 in the city, that also dates to the 1200s. And then we include a flamenco show as part of our lunch while we're out in Salamanca. So that's the one main day that we'll do a lunch in the city. We also incorporate a couple of really unique aspects, and those are quintas. And quintas are these small vineyards that produce amazing wines throughout the valley of the Douro. And so we'll do one lunch at a quinta and one dinner at one of the quintas, and they do a great spread for our guests. We have wine included on those, and it really is a wonderful experience to take in. We'll also travel out to the town of Pinal, and that's one of the larger cities or towns on the river. And just every stretch of the way is an amazing opportunity for beautiful sightseeing and natural beauty. I'll go into some of the details along the way here, but we have 2 departure dates on this. One is November 3rd and the other November 10th. And we have space on both cruises, a limited space, but there is still room. We'll start out with the option to add Lisbon to your excursion. And this is a 2-night extension on the front end of the program. So you would fly in to Lisbon if you added the Lisbon extension and spend 2 nights in a beautiful property right in the city center. And it's a great hub to get to see all this amazing architecture as well as art. We'll do a city tour of Lisbon as well, working our way to the outskirts. We'll do a city tour in the morning the next day, and then the afternoons at leisure to explore some of the great museums and sites as well as the beautiful harbor. And they have a bridge that's almost identical to the Golden Gate in Lisbon. And then we'll work our way out to the north. Lisbon's further down on the south end of Portugal, but as we work our way towards Porto, we'll stop in Nazaré, and that is pictured in the bottom half of this image with the amazing waves that reach up to 80 to 100 feet high. And this is surfer's paradise. Don't worry, we're not getting in the water, but it is a great opportunity to see this beautiful setting and amazing beach. Then we work our way up to Fatima as we get closer to Porto. And this is a pilgrimage site where three kids said they saw the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary came to them. So great legends and stories in regards to that, but really amazing sights and incredible cathedral there in Fatima. On our touring experience, once we board the ship, we will do a full city tour of Porto. We'll do it primarily by motor coach with a little bit of walking here and there. We'll get to experience the Stock Exchange building, and that's got some tremendous architecture to it and amazing designs on the interior. And then we'll also work our way out to some wine tasting in that area as well. From Porto, we'll continue up the river and stop in the city of Lamego. And this is home to a beautiful church and chapel that sits up on the hill. And below it are about 626 steps, and they are covered in these beautiful blue and white tiles. And you can go as far as you want, up or down, but we will also provide motor coach transportation around to get back down to the main city center as part of that city tour. But the chapel as well as the steps are just beautiful. I mentioned the full day excursion out to Salamanca, Spain, and it is really an amazing city to explore, especially pictured in the upper right Plaza Mayor. And this is a main square of Europe dating to the 1700s with some amazing architecture there. And it's a really nice setting to grab a glass of wine and sit out at one of the cafes and just take it all in. And we'll have some leisure time after the city tour in Salamanca to do so. Then we'll work our way up to Castelo Rodrigo. And this is a beautiful castle ruin up on the hill that overlooks the valley and the area below. And it's an incredible setting itself, dating to around the 1200s, but a really amazing site that we'll have guided tours with. And each of the days we'll go out with a local guide and get to explore these amazing towns. And then our last day, we'll also have the opportunity to pick your own excursion. And we have two different excursions on that last day. One to Guimarães, and it's an amazing walking tour that we do through the beautiful city there. And the other is a wine tasting. So if you want to try more of the beautiful ports and different wines that come out of Portugal, that's a great opportunity. Another really important aspect of this river is that it is one of the most scenic stretches in all of Europe. You have terraced vineyards up and down the river, as well as beautiful granite cliffs that we get to see on the cruise. So this is a really nice program when it comes to a balance of activity as well as relaxation. So you get about half a day in most cases of cruising, where we get to see these beautiful valley areas and the amazing vineyards that are up on the hillside. So each stretch of the way is just gorgeous and a highlight for me in terms of what we get to see on this program. So as I mentioned before, there are two departures on this trip, November 3rd and November 10th. Space is limited. This is one of the smaller ships we use in Europe as it is based or built around the river itself. So we only have about 110 passengers at max, and these two departures are filling up. So there's limited space available on this one. Getting into a wonderful program on the Rhine River. This is our Holland Windmills and Rhine River Castles program. And this one heads out October 12th of this year. And we take the Amadeus Star, which is a beautiful ship built in 2019. I've had the pleasure of cruising on board this ship in the past, and it's just a wonderful vessel to take us up and down the Rhine. We'll start this one with a flight into Amsterdam, and it's an overnight flight, so you'll get in day 2. And what we do is we work our way through the city of Amsterdam after a one-night stay at a hotel in the city. And from there, we'll continue on and do a canal cruise, and that's the best way to see the city. It's a smaller boat than our cruise ship, but it really does give you a great perspective of the beautiful canals and waterways throughout the Netherlands. We'll get to see amazing architecture throughout there. As well, we'll work our way out to the countryside. And one of the stops we'll make is Zanziskans. That is an amazing Dutch village that I'll highlight later. We also continue on down the river. We'll board the ship in Amsterdam. We'll go out to Volendam and Edam on this cruise. And that's a great highlight to get out to the coastline and see this beautiful little harbor town and learn about the cheese that they produce in Edam. As we work our way south, we continue into Cologne in Germany. And that's a wonderful world-class city with an amazing cathedral that took several hundred years to build. So we'll take that all in process. And then we continue down to Koblenz, and that is at the tip of two different rivers. You have the Moselle, which continues out towards France, and then you have the Rhine. So we'll do a walking tour in Koblenz. It's one of the oldest cities in Germany. And then we work our way down the Moselle River to Kokum. And this little town is just a beautiful little quaint area. And we'll do a walking tour there as well as a visit to Reichsburg Castle, which sits up on the hill overlooking the town and the Moselle River. One of the great aspects of the Moselle is that it is also covered in vineyards on either side, so it's a beautiful setting to cruise. And we'll do a wine tasting in a cellar across the water, right near where our ship docks, and that's a great opportunity to try some German wines. We continue down the Rhine, down to Mannheim, and we offer a half-day excursion as an optional to Heidelberg Castle. And the castle sits up on the hill overlooking the city, and it's just a wonderful setting to take in. We then continue to Speyer, and this is another great small German town with a beautiful cathedral that is built from reddish stone, from iron oxide in the nearby hills. And so that stone is brought in to Speyer as its main construction item. And we'll get to walk with a local guide and tour that area as well. Down to Strasbourg on this cruise. Now, Strasbourg is an amazing city because it blends both French and German cultures. And we'll do a city tour by motor coach and then getting off the coach in Old Town and walking in towards the cathedral there. So really unique setting to take that. We wrap the cruise up in Basel, Switzerland, and that's where we arrive as our last port of call, and that's where we will disembark in northern Switzerland. And we fly out of Zurich on this cruise. We offer also a 2-night extension down to Lucerne. And Lucerne's a wonderful city looking out over the lake as well the mountains in the backdrop. And we do a 2-night extension there with a hotel as well a wonderful walking tour of the city. So this one again, October 12th, 9 meals included. So all of our breakfasts and then each of our dinners along the way, 20 meals included on this trip. Now, this is one of the highlight cruises that we do offer, and I say that because there is not one single excursion that we offer on this cruise that I didn't enjoy or people don't enjoy. It really does highlight the best of this region. And what we do on our Normandy Paris and the Seine River cruise, we've been offering this for many years now, and it's become a highlight for many people, not just myself. We'll fly into Paris on this one, and we do a stop out in Conflans for a day trip out to Auvers-sur-Oise. And this was the home of Vincent van Gogh. So that is how we'll start the program. This cruise goes out April 7th of next year, so just about 1 year from now, and it will fill up. These trips do sell out very quickly, but I'll walk you through each step of this cruise to really highlight the components. So as we arrive into Auvers-sur-Oise, we'll do a walking tour of this beautiful little town and get to see where Vincent van Gogh lived his final years. So he lived in the Auberge Revue in the upper apartment above the cafe. And there is a multimedia presentation about his life and some of the work he did in terms of his paintings there in Auvers-sur-Oise. And in many of the sites throughout town that we do walk through, you'll get to see the original building, the main building on site, as well as his image, his picture of that site. So it really does give you a great perspective of his imagination. You'll also get to see Vincent van Gogh's gravesite along with his brother right next to it. And that'll be a nice little walk up to the top and get a chance to see the beautiful church there as well. On to one of the largest cities in the Normandy region, and that is Rouen. And that's right along the river itself, along the Seine River. And we'll do a walking tour in the morning with a local guide. We'll get to see these beautiful half-timbered homes along with the astronomical clock that's right in the center of the city. And along that stretch, right where the clock is located, are these great little shops and restaurants. So it's a fun shopping experience to go out and explore, buy some chocolates because they have some amazing chocolate and caramels there, as well getting a chance to see the beautiful cathedral in Rouen. And then that afternoon, we'll have a half day to yourselves, so you can enjoy the surrounding areas. You can grab a glass of wine at one of the cafes and look out on the square, or just explore one of the great museums. And one of those is the Joan of Arc Museum. This was her resting place, her last place of visit, as she was burnt at the stake in Rouen. The modern cathedral there in the city is dedicated to her, and it's got some beautiful stained glass incorporated with it. One of the biggest highlights in terms of sightseeing and incredible landscape is our visit to Étretat. And this is an included excursion. We go out to the beach of the town of Étretat. It's a beautiful little town, quiet and quaint. And on either side of the beach are these beautiful archways going out over the Atlantic Ocean. So incredible geology and rock formations there. As well, you can step out on the beach and enjoy that if you don't want to take the walk. But there are walkways or trails that go out to the top of the cliffs on either side. And on the right side, there's a gorgeous little chapel that looks out over the Atlantic Ocean. So it really is a picturesque setting. Our optional that day is out to Honfleur, and that is a beautiful little harbor town. And surrounding the harbor are all these great little restaurants and cafes, along with some great shopping. Now, we try to time this up with their farmers market on the Saturday that we visit, and that takes us in to get a chance to try some of the great items that come from that area, whether it's meats or cheeses or great ciders. That's one of the highlights of the Normandy region is apples and ciders. They have those all available at the farmers market. So we'll do a walking tour as part of this optional, getting to see this historic church that's located there. It's a very small wooden church, so different from the beautiful giant cathedrals. And then we have some leisure time to enjoy the sights and surroundings, especially that farmers market. Now, one of the most impactful parts of this cruise is going out to the D-Day beaches and landing sites in Normandy of the American, British, and Australian troops that landed on D-Day, June 6, 1944. And as part of this day, it's a full day excursion where we go out to the beach, Omaha Beach, which is one of two beachheads that the Americans landed at. We'll also work our way out to Pont du Hoc, and that's pictured in the upper right. Now, those big potholes are not part of a golf course. That is where the Americans bombed prior to landing on the beaches. So those are massive bomb craters, and it's really incredible to see. Within that area are also the German bunkers that the Americans were trying to take as part of that adventure, where the team of military would climb up 100-foot cliffs to destroy these German batteries. We'll also head over to the American cemetery, and that's where over 9,000 servicemen are buried from the American Army. So it really is an impactful day. We'll include lunch as part of this day out while we're out in the Normandy region. And then we also include a museum visit to learn more about this incredible day and this battle. As we make our way back downriver, we'll stop in Les Andelys, and that is a excursion that we offer as an optional to Monet's house and gardens. And you'll see the house there pictured on the left-hand side, covered in ivy and beautiful greenery, as well the different types of plants and flowers that are all over this garden. Now, one of my favorite images are of the ponds and the beautiful bridges that cross over them. And you can just see his paintings, Monet's paintings, in these different locations, as they are just gorgeous with all the different colors and structure to them. We wrap the cruise up itself in Paris. We come back into Paris and then do a full city tour, getting to see the Eiffel Tower from a number of different viewpoints. We work our way over to Notre Dame Cathedral, and it's wonderful now that it is back open after the horrendous fire that took place several years ago. And then we also get a chance to see the Louvre as we do our motor coach tour. We'll work our way through that area and get to see sights of the Louvre. We don't have entry into the Louvre, but if you do have a preference for going into the museums or up the Eiffel Tower, you can book your tickets for that afternoon. That's our last full day, and that'll give you a great perspective on the city itself. We also offer an optional tour up to Montmartre, and that's an incredible cathedral and basilica located at the top of the hill overlooking Paris. And there are some great little cafes there, as well the basilica itself. Our Holland Windmills, Waterways, and Tulips is an incredible program that focuses on both the Netherlands and Belgium. This is an amazing site to take in all these beautiful towns, as well the cities of Amsterdam, Bruges, Ghent, and Antwerp. And so what we do on this program is we'll fly in round trip into Amsterdam, and we board the brand new Amadeus Amara. And this is an incredible vessel launched this year, and we'll work our way out through the canals and different waterways of these two amazing countries. So we're not on the primary rivers like the Rhine, we'll be on some of the offshoots, but they are really a beautiful stretch getting to see all these highlights. And this is 7 nights on board the ship. It's 9 days in total, including travel time, and 20 meals incorporated. We have 2 different departure dates. One is April 13th, and the other a week later, April 20th. Now, if you want to see some of the fun aspects of Amsterdam, especially when it comes to King's Day, and that's a national holiday, and that happens towards the end of that April 20th departure date. So I believe it's the 28th of April next year, and that is a big celebration in the streets. It's a holiday for folks, so they're not working. They're all out celebrating in the streets of Amsterdam, and it's quite a fun experience to take in with all the orange flying around. Then from there, we work our way out on a city tour and canal cruise through Amsterdam. And then we continue out to the Dutch village of Zonzeskans. And that is an amazing sight to see. And I'll show you some images here in just a minute. We'll work our way out to the town of Arnhem. And that is known for its World War II site and museum. And then down into Belgium. And that's where we get to take in a number of great cities. One is Bruges, that's included on the tour. Antwerp, which is known for its diamonds and diamond production. And then we also go out to some of the surrounding areas to see the windmills. So arriving in Amsterdam, you'll get to see some beautiful sights throughout that area. And we'll do a canal cruise, which is the best way to see the city, as it's tough to get the motor coach through some of those tight alleyways. This is Zonzeskans, and it's one of my favorite spots in the Netherlands. It is a Dutch village, historic Dutch village, with windmills and waterways, as well as a clog factory. And usually we incorporate this on arrival for folks that are just coming in to get a chance to see all of this. And it really is an amazing spot to take in. And as we work our way through, we'll also get a chance to see the amazing surrounds of Arnhem. Now, this is known for its famous bridge that was part of a huge battle between the Germans and American and British soldiers within this area. It was a airborne assault, so the 101st Airborne were part of this battle, and it's a really amazing sight to see and take in the city surroundings as well. Middelburg is a very fun little town with all these great little shops and restaurants, and we get to do a walking tour of Middelburg. And that's where we'll also see the governor's house, the governor's palace, and a number of really unique architectural structures throughout this area as we walk. It's also built on canals and waterways, so you'll get to see a lot of the water settings and the beautiful houseboats that are familiar both in Amsterdam and Middelburg. Ghent is part of an optional tour that we do. And that's where we'll go out to this amazing city and see the beautiful church and cathedral there. We'll tour the surrounding areas and then head into one of the highlights. And that is to see the Ghent altarpiece. And this is a segment of about 13 different panels put in all together. and it incorporates the story of Christianity. And so it dates back to 1432 as part of a Northern Renaissance. So the Italians had theirs in the early 1400s, and the Northern Renaissance took place a little bit later. But it is an amazing piece of art that took over 10 years to create, and it was stolen by the Nazis in World War II, stolen a total of 12 times, as it was that important, and its value is estimated at about $35 million. But it was discovered in the salt mines by the Monuments Men in 1945. And then one of my highlight cities, one of my favorite places to travel in all of Europe because of its beautiful setting, is the city of Bruges. That's me on the right side eating a beautiful Belgian waffle. And this is an amazing location, an amazing destination, because it gives you chocolate, beer, waffles, and French fries as well. So it really is a fun area to explore, especially if you're a foodie. But what we'll do is a city tour of Bruges. We'll work our way in the surrounding areas and get to see all the different waterways, as well the swans that work their way through the waters. And then the main square of Bruges is one of the largest in Europe, and all surrounding the square are these great little shops and restaurants to get some local goods. So we'll tour the area with the local there. And then Antwerp as part of a city tour. I mentioned before that this is home to amazing diamonds and diamond production. So you can get your diamonds there while we go out and explore. We'll do a city tour there, and then from there get a chance to see the outskirts. We also offer a Brussels optional tour. That's in the morning, and that takes us out to the main city in Belgium, and we'll do a city tour by motor coach and some walking through Brussels. Now, truly the biggest point and kind of the last hurrah of this program is going out to Keukenhof Gardens. And this is where we'll get a chance to see the amazing flower gardens of Europe. So in April, it's peak time for tulip blossoms, and we'll get to see thousands and thousands of bulbs as we explore this incredible garden area. And there are just so many acres of flowers in all different types, both tulips as well as other variety. They also have a petting zoo and tremendous windmills in the backdrop of the garden area. So it really is an amazing sight to take in. And this program, again, April 13th and April 20th of 2026, it will sell out. Even just with our first announcement of this travel show, we've already received a few bookings on these programs. So don't wait, they will sell out, and there are only about 130 spots on these programs each. Now, the wonders of the Blue Danube. This is a tremendous river, the Danube River, that we get to see going from Budapest up to Regensburg. And so we'll start in Hungary. We'll break into Slovakia, as well as Austria and Germany. And on this program, we also offer a 2-night extension to Prague, and I'll go over that as well. But this is on the beautiful Amadeus Nova, and this is a ship that I got to experience as part of its inauguration for when they first launched it. It is a tremendous vessel, an incredible setting and beautiful design to this ship, and it's a really wonderful and comfortable cruise to take in. So on board this ship, this one takes off October 10th and October 17th of next year. Again, we're promoting so much further out with our programs because they are selling out. And so we've already sold out our holiday tours, holiday cruises for 2025. And so we're putting these out as early as possible for folks to have the best opportunity to jump on board. So this is the Amadeus Nova, built in 2024 and got to be part of the inauguration in April of that year. And they had a big celebration, but it's just a tremendous ship to be a part of and to cruise on. One of the lesser used rooms of the cruise ship, but still accessible, is the workout room in the gym. It does have weights, bikes, as well as a treadmill. So if you got to keep up with your workouts, you can do so here. I know a lot of people just skip that and go to the wine. And very comfortable staterooms. Again, the staterooms vary on categories. So categories E and D have picture windows, and they are on the lowest deck. The next deck up are categories C and B, and those are generally half windows, half fold down windows, and beautiful opportunity to enjoy a great cruise experience while also being relatively reasonable on the cost. But the cabins themselves have great space within it. They have a seating area as well, a TV, a safe, a hair dryer, and much, much more. So also the closets can fit your suitcase as well as hanging some of your clothes. So it really is a nice way to unpack and settle in for your experience. And then the bathrooms have a full use toilet as well as a shower, a glass shower. So it's a really nice area and plenty of space to utilize. This is the Amadeus Club in the back of the ship, and it's very comfortable seating for about 30 people. So you and your closest 29 friends can enjoy this space. It's open to everybody on board with the exception of some special events. And it has a bar as well as a TV. It's also a great place to read a book and relax. It's a little quieter spot on the ship. We also have the lounge, and the lounge provides a full-length bar, and that is a really great service and open to everybody to come up and enjoy the lounge. That's where we'll do our presentations from the cruise director and our tour director team. As well, we get a chance to experience some live music in the evenings in the main lounge. Up on the sun deck on board this beautiful vessel, they have both the lounge chairs where you get to relax and lay out and really take in the sights from there. They also have a very beautiful little infinity pool, and that's a great spot to go out and relax as well. Now, the sun deck is very large. It's got a lot of different amenities, a lot of different seating structures. So you have plenty of seats up top for just about everybody on board in a number of different segments. And then also, if you're on the more active side, there is a putting green, a shuffleboard court, as well as a chessboard. So there's always something to do on board the ships. There's plenty of activities, and especially if you're trying to keep up your putting game while you're not back home where your buddies are playing golf, it's a great opportunity to do so. Getting into some of the destinations that we visit on the wonders of the Blue Danube. We'll start out by arriving into Budapest, and this is an amazing city in Eastern Europe. A very lively, very active city, and it's a great destination where we'll include a city tour, getting to see the beautiful bridges along the Danube, and amazing church as well as castle up on the hillside. Once we leave Budapest, we'll work our way out to Bratislava. Now, prior to leaving Budapest, we'll also do a cruise at night in the Budapest area, as well as a folk show on board. And then arriving into Bratislava, this is one of my favorite smaller cities when it comes to Europe, but just a beautiful setting. And you have the Bratislava Castle, pictured up on the left-hand side, the white castle there. Now, I walked up to that, but we will have the motor coach available to you to get to see a lot of these great sites. And then we'll walk back through Old Town. And Old Town is one of my favorite parts of this entire area with all of its great restaurants and shops up and down the stretch. From Bratislava, we continue on to Vienna. And Vienna is a world-class city. We'll incorporate a city tour there, get a chance to see the beautiful cathedral as well as the opera house and a number of great architectural feats throughout that area. Now, from there, we also offer an optional tour to the Schönbrunn Palace, and that is an incredible home of the Habsburg family, the Habsburg dynasty, so we'll get to see that as an optional tour. And then Melk Abbey. This incredible abbey dates back to the 1700s and sits up on the cliff overlooking the Danube River. And one of my favorite aspects of this is going through the beautiful library within that building. So you'll see the chapel within it, you'll see the library, and so many other great sites. Now, as we wrap up, we'll work our way into Regensburg, and that is where we'll do a walking tour as well as a brewery tasting. So we go to one of the local historic breweries dating back to the 1700s and get a chance to try some local specialty beer. We'll fly out of Munich for the main program, or you can continue on a 2-night extension to Prague. And this is just an incredible city to get to visit. Now, we take the motor coach from Regensburg to Prague, It's about a half-day journey. And then we spend 2 nights in Prague, in the city. And this is where en route we'll do a Czech lunch, so Czech Republic, as we enter into a new country. And we incorporate some Pilsner beer, which is its specialty. Then from there, we continue on a city tour the following day and get to see the Prague Castle, which is pictured in the bottom left as the Great Hall. We'll see the St. Charles Bridge, and it's a beautiful structure pictured on the right-hand side. It's one of the most famous bridges in all of the world. Very active, very popular. And between the two, as we're walking down from the castle to the bridge, we'll go through the Golden Lane. And this is an amazing stretch of these beautiful small homes, which are basically open-air museums. So you can walk through each of them, see the different sites and different items that they have held up, and it's a really fun little excursion that we'll take as we walk through Golden Lane. Continuing down into the city center, you'll get a great view from the bridge overlooking, looking out of the castle that we came down from, as well as the church, and then into the city center. And this is one of the most active cities in all of Europe. So this is the main square with its beautiful church in the backdrop and amazing architecture surrounding it. Again, great shops and restaurants throughout. And we'll get to work our way over to the beautiful clock tower. And that goes off just about every hour. And it's a really unique experience to see that clock in motion, as it's several hundred years old. So that program, again, going off in October 10th and 17th of 2026. And then last but not least, I'll mention briefly the Switzerland and Christmas markets of the Rhine. This is the only cruise that we do have currently on the Christmas markets in Europe for the holiday season of 2026. Right now, we only plan to offer this. So if you're looking for that great opportunity to see the Christmas markets, this would be it for right now. And this is also on the brand new Amadeus Amara. So brand new ship launching this year, 2025. And what we'll do is we'll work our way from Lucerne. We'll arrive into Zurich and spend 1 night in Lucerne, and then work our way up north along the Rhine to these many great cities like Strasbourg, Speyer, Rudesheim, Kochum, and Cologne. And these are highlights, especially when it comes to the Christmas market season, early December. So we'll fly out of the US on November 30th, landing the following day, and working our way into Lucerne. And again, we stay 1 night at a hotel in Lucerne, and generally we board the ship in Strasbourg. So that's our starting point on board the Amadeus Amara. And this is another highlight program, a really great setting during the holidays, and we wrap up by flying out of Frankfurt on this. In terms of our show specials that we like to offer, if you do book a 2025 or 2026 river cruise by next Wednesday, April 16th, we are reducing the deposit down in half. So generally it's about a $600 deposit for our European river cruises, but we're bringing that to $299 if you purchase with travel insurance. And then our 1 cabin category upgrade is still available on some of our 2025 river cruises, but is now available on our 2026 programs as well. And so how that works is you would book a lower category on board the ship, and you're automatically upgraded to the category above it. That'll save anywhere from $200 to $400 per person. I generally recommend booking the categories C or B and being upgraded to B or A. You get the lower price and a better cabin location on board the ship and better spacing in many cases. You can also book a category D, which is the lowest category, and being upgraded into C. So that's another great way to go. But please don't wait, especially for those 2025 programs, for that 1 cabin category upgrade, as these do sell out. We've seen the majority of our river cruises sell out for 2025, and that limited space still available for this year. But use the code CRUISING by next Wednesday for these specials. And then how to book, you can call our AFC reservations team at 1-800-369-3693. You can email Joe, Holly, April, or Samantha at afctours.com, or you can also visit our website for any of our tours that we do have on offer. We appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining the show, and we look forward to seeing you on board one of our cruises or on our tours. So thank you so much. And if you do have any questions or feedback about the show, please email April at afctours.com. Have a wonderful rest of your day.